when a witness testifies in court, he brings to the court his own credibility in relation to what he's supposed to testify on. So, meaning, if it is not based on personal knowledge, tagilid ka na dyan. If it's based on report of which you don't have any participation, tagilid ka na rin dyan. So, doon pa lang sa dalawang bagay na yan, whatever credential you may have as you bring yourself to and before the impeachment court, it has to be in relation to what you would be testifying on. And doon, I don't see it insofar as NBI Director Matibag is concerned.
Opo.
Siguro, payo ko na lang din na kung ano yung nakalap nila sa NBI, yun lang yan, yun lang din na ititistigo niya. He is not to make any conclusion. Perhaps he can make an opinion on the matter, but I have to be careful in saying na whatever opinion that he's going to make, kasi head of agency siya, no less than the law enforcement body of the government of the Republic of the Philippines, kailangan pagbabasihan yung mga ebidensya na nakalap nila na credible naman.
Dito po tayo sa sinasabing dapat ang witness ay may personal knowledge po. Sa tingin niyo po, doon po sa pagtestigo nitong si Attorney Melvin Matibag, ang NBI Director, napatunayan ba nito yung sinasabi sa Rule 130, Section 22 ng Rules on Evidence na quote-unquote, a witness can testify only to those facts which he knows of his personal knowledge that is which are derived from his own perception. Hindi nga kasama dito yung mga hearsay. Attorney, ano masasabi niyo po?
Opo, ang pagkaalam ko, he was asked to testify on the basis of the investigation conducted by the NBI. So doon pa lang po, makikita mo na merong kakulangan yung credibilidad ng kanyang testimony. Kasi nga, as you said, it is not based on personal knowledge. Yung mga supposed report or events, places, tao na nakalap ng NBI, wala pong personal knowledge si NBI Director Matibag. Lalong-lalo na, if I may put it in its proper context, that he came in only after these events, places, and people were reported and investigated by the NBI. Although sinasabi niya na patuloy yung pag-iimbestiga, yung mga sinasabi niya sa harap ng impeachment court, yun na po yung nakalap before he came into office. So again, that's adding to the lack of credibility on the part of NBI Director Matibag. Meaning, he is just testifying on the basis of reports. Mas maganda nga na kung sino yung naimbestiga ng NBI, siya yung haharap dito sa impeachment court. No? O kung sino man ang may hawak ng mga ebidensya na hawak na ngayon ng NBI, yung original source ng mga dokumento nito na may hawak nito, siya rin ang magtistisigo sa NBI. So, yun po yung standard ng rules on evidence dito. Kaya babalikan ko lang, we need to be consistent on the application of the standards and rules on evidence and the rules of court. Kasi pag wala yan, ang maiiwan na lang po dito, ang makikita natin dito is a political proceeding by a Senate impeachment court. And I hope that will not happen. Yun po that is our prayer, that is our expectation na kailangan natin ipagtibay at susundin yung mga rules on evidence. Kasi sa nakikita, it's an impeachment court. It's a court of law, it's a court of record. And therefore, anong susundin natin nito na standard? It's a rules on evidence.
Opo. And attorney, nabanggit mo yung kredibilidad na salita. kung ikaw po yung tatanungin, kasi sa unang part ng kanyang pagtestigo, ang sabi niya, abogado siya ng 29 na taon na, naging NBI director, naging dating dean, naging mga opisyal, no, ng panahon ni dating Pangulong Gloria Macapagal Arroyo, tapos nitong si kay dating Presidente Rodrigo Duterte, at ngayon hindi niya na-establish yung kredibilidad na magagamit dito sa kanyang pagtestigo sa impeachment trial, attorney.
As I've said earlier, when a witness testifies in court, he brings to the court his own credibility in relation to what he's supposed to testify on. So, meaning, if it is not based on personal knowledge, tagilid ka na dyan. If it's based on report of which you don't have any participation, tagilid ka na rin dyan. So, doon pa lang sa dalawang bagay na yan, whatever credential you may have, as you bring yourself to and before the impeachment court, it has to be in relation to what you would be testifying on. And doon, I don't see it insofar as NBI Director Matibag is concerned.
Opo.
Siguro, payo ko na lang din na kung ano yung nakalap nila sa NBI, yun lang yan, yun lang din ay ititistigo niya. He is not to make any conclusion. Perhaps he can make an opinion on the matter, but I have to be careful in saying na whatever opinion that he's going to make, kasi head of agency siya, no less than the law enforcement body of the government of the Republic of the Philippines, kailangan pagbabasihan yung mga ebidensya na nakalap nila na credible naman.
Opo.
And just to give an example, the one cited in the case of Arturo Las Cañas, utterly without basis, I have to say that. At hindi ko nga maintindihan kung bakit kinonsider pa ng Senate Impeachment Court.
Opo, hindi pa kasama doon sa kini-question nga na hindi akma yung Rule 130, Section 22 na Rules on Evidence. Hindi pa kasama dito yung kanyang pagiging asawa ng isa sa mga endorser ng impeachment at yung mga nailathala sa kanyang column na pawang mga banat sa pangalawang Pangulo na subject nitong impeachment trial, attorney.
Yan ang hindi ko alam patungkol doon sa asawa niyang nag-endorse pala dito sa impeachment. I think delikadesa dictates na he should not have appeared before the Senate Impeachment Court because no less than his spouse have endorsed the case that he's now testifying on.
Opo.
So,
And
mahirap yung ganun. At dagdag na bagahe yan na Admar pagdating sa ganong klaseng pagpipresenta ng ebidensya by the prosecution.
opo. Sir,
That is just my opinion.
opo.
Pero pabigat yan, mawala yung kredibilidad ng isang tao, yung asawa mo pala ay isa sa mga nagsulong na i-file yung kaso sa Senate Impeachment Court.
Opo. Attorney, sa regular na korte po ba, mabigat po ba na ilatag na bilang mga witness yung mga individual na hanggang sa investigasyon lang? Doon lang yun yung ilalatag mo compare sa meron talagang yung involved mismo doon sa mga pinag-uusapan po, attorney. Halimbawa kasi dito puro taga NBI lang talaga, na banggit mo nga wala nga yung yung sinasabing binantaan na nag-testify sa isang regular na korte. Common po ba yan or hindi lang yung mga nag-iimbestiga or bihira lang ipinipresenta yung mga nag-imbestiga sa isang kaso like kagaya po dito?
Tama po kayo. You are actually dealing with what you call weight, no? Yung bigat ng ebidensya na pinipresenta sa korte. Mas mabigat yung ebidensya pag nanggagaling doon mismo sa taong nagsabi, kung may sinabi, kaysa doon sa tao na nakarinig na sinabi. In fact, if I may recall, in one of his answers to the question, when he was asked about uh, when NBI Director Matibag was asked as regards kung merong destabilization plot ba or and then he was asked about a particular article of VP Sara that he is not after BBM or the presidency. And tama naman yung sagot ni Senator ni NBI Director Matibag na I cannot comment on that because I cannot read the state of mind of VP Sara. O di tama lang. So kung tama yung kung hopefully consistent lang siya doon sa sinasabi niya, then he cannot also read the mind or the state of mind of those people who appeared before the NBI when they conducted the investigation. So ang pinakamabigat na testigo patungkol doon sa naimbestiga nila, yung mga taong naimbestiga nila who will have to appear before the impeachment court.
Paano, attorney, na yung subject daw ng binantaan, mismong siya, nung tinanong siya sa kanyang podcast, kung makikipagbati ba siya or makikipag-reconcile siya sa mga Duterte, no? Mismong sinabi niyang bukas siya na makipag-reconcile sa mga Duterte. Ito pong pinatutungkulan natin ay si Pangulong Bongbong Marcos Jr. na naging subject nga na sinasabing kabilang sa binantaan daw ng Pangalawang Pangulo Sara Duterte. Mismo sabi niya, ito'y after na nung mga pahayag ng Pangalawang Pangulo, sabi niya bukas siya na makipag-reconcile. Tumutugma po ba yun sa grave threat? May nabantaan siya at nakaramdam siya ng mga pagbabanta, attorney?
As it appears, it is not consistent with somebody who would feel aggrieved, afraid, concerned about dun sa alleged pagbabanta sa buhay ng isang tao. Kung yun ang pagbabasihan natin. So, yun ang hindi natin maintindihan din kung bakit. I don't know if that was considered sa pagkahaba ng testimony ni NBI Director Matibag. Was that also mentioned in yesterday's proceeding? But nevertheless,
Opo.
if that is the premise of your question, I fully agree with the observation that that is not consistent of the behavior of somebody who feels afraid, concerned, or aggrieved on what may have been said against him.
Opo. Dito naman po sa pagtatanong ng depensa kay NBI Director Matibag, no, kung saan nabanggit ni Attorney Matibag yung salitang confidential. Hindi pwede bulgar dahil national security daw. Nakikita niyo po bang baka magamit din ito ng depensa attorney? Lalo meron ng issue doon sa pagiging confidential, no? Lalo't sabi nga ng depensa, tinanong si Attorney Matibag kung hindi ka naniniwala sa konseptong hindi confidential ang katotohanan. Parang naibalik sa kanila yung naging pahayag ng prosekusyon na attorney. Ano masasabi niyo po?
Maganda yung pagkasabi ni Atty. Binluan dito sa yung defense counsel. Ibinilik niya lang yung sinabi ng prosecution. The truth is the truth confidential, although it was in the form of a question. Kasi nga, ang hinahanap natin dito, katotohanan. Ever since at the start, even at the start of trial, katotohanan ang hinahanap natin dito. And I'd like again to go back to the context. Pag, the threshold on what the truth may be is the rules on evidence. Yung evidence po, pabalik-balik natin maririnig yan. Yung definition ng evidence po under the rules of court, ang sinasabi po, evidence is the means sanctioned by the rules. Ibig sabihin, it's the means. Okay? Ang pamamaraan. Okay? Hindi po yung dokumento ang ebidensya. kung hindi yung pamamaraan kung paano po kinalap yung dokumento. Okay? Is the means sanctioned by these rules, the rules set by the impeachment court, in ascertaining in a judicial proceeding, hindi po in a political proceeding, in a judicial proceeding, the truth, okay, respecting a matter of fact. So, ibig sabihin, yung katotohanan base sa isang bagay na nangyari. Fact. It's a fact. So, that being said, pag yung isang bagay po, we have discussed this earlier about hearsay evidence, hindi na katanggap-tanggap at violative of the rules, wag na natin pagdidebatehan yan. We just have to strike it down kasi nga labag sa rules on evidence, and we can move on to other matters for them to prove the articles of impeachment. Kasi nga, paglabag yan sa batas, paglabag sa rules on evidence, ano pang pagbabasihan natin dito sa pagkakalap ng katotohanan? No? Yung katotohanan based on three elements of evidence. Admissibility, ibig sabihin, you mentioned about based on personal knowledge, yan po yung rules. May mga exception, hearsay. But the exception to the hearsay rule is, among others, yung dying declaration, yung declaration against interest, magsasabi ka ng isang bagay kontra sa sarili mo, pwedeng tanggapin. No? O kaya mamamatay ka na, may sinabi ka, pwede rin i-consider yan. But that's an exception to the exception because the hearsay rule is an exception. So, yun po yung sinasabi ko na kailangan po natin itama yung application ng rules on evidence para maayos natin kung ano yung ebidensya na pwedeng katanggap-tanggap at eventually pag matapos yung trial, ano lang po yung i-consider ng mga senator judges when they arrive at their individual decision. Yun po. Ang problema rito, kahit na hindi ka tanggap-tanggap sa rules on evidence, nailabas na. So, yun po yung, to me, this is very concerning, no? And I hope, as I've said, it won't happen
Opo,
in
balikan ko lang. Opo.
in future trials.
Attorney, balikan ko lang yung issue ng credibilidad kasi di ko alam kung napanood nyo yung audio video na kumalat sa social media na na-involve itong si Attorney Matibag po, no? Kung saan grabe yung mga pagmumura at meron pang banta, no? Na narinig natin. Na-question din ito ng depensa kay Attorney Matibag at umamin din siya na meron ding emotional outburst na nangyari din. Kaya nabanggit niya yung mga salitang iyon. Kung ihahambing ito sa na mga nailabas na mga salita ng pangalawang Pangulo, may nakikita po ba kayong similarity lalo na doon sa pagrarason po, Attorney, kung pagbabatayan yung sinabi ni Attorney Matibag po?
Actually, tama po kayo. Kung sana sinabi na lang ni Senator Ani, I keep on saying Senator, hindi ko alam kung magiging Senator na itong NBI Director, Matibag. Pero anyway, sana sinabi na lang ni NBI Director na yung sinabi po ni VP Sara ay emotional outburst din. Tingnan mo naman yung konteksto. Nandun siya sa loob ng Senado, iniipit at ginigipit sila. Sila, hindi lang po si Yusek Laika Lopez,
Sa
pati siya.
Kamara po,
Na
hindi po
nandun
sa Senado,
loob
Attorney.
sa Kamara. I'm sorry, sa Kamara. Sa panahon na sinabi niya yan. So, doon pa lang, kitang-kita na it was a emotional outburst also. So, at saka marami pang sinabi si VP Sara doon na hindi tinugunan ng gobyerno. Kaya malalim yung hinaing ni VP Sara patungkol sa, hindi patungkol sa kanya, it's about governance. Sa dami ng mga nangyayari sa gobyerno at hindi inimbestiga ng gobyerno. And it's a very valid issue to raise insofar as what's happening in the country because you and I at yung mga nanonood ngayon are directly affected by what the government is doing, or more particularly, what the government is not doing and is supposed to do but did not or failed to do.
Opo. Mapapansin ba natin na hinahype lang talaga ito kasi ito po'y mismong si Vice President Sara Duterte yung kanilang nagiging subject nga, no? At kung sa issue ng politika, siya talagang contender for 2028. At doon sa pagtatanong po ng presiding officer, na real talk, no? Kung saan sabi, di ba, ang presidente, alam naman natin na meron talagang mga bantayan. Natanong ito kay kay Attorney Melvin Matibag, di ba consider na yan na may mga banta talaga, kaya nga sandamakmak yung mga gwardya niyan, no? Ito ba mas lalo pang nagpalalim na parang hinayp lang ang issue dahil ang involved dito ay ang pangalawang pangulo na naging dati kaalyado sa politika, ngayon ay nagiging banta na po nila, attorney.
Tama po kayo doon sa observation na yan. At I would, if that is what the presiding officer said, I would fully agree on that one. Because it would be naive to consider that there is not a president in our country na walang banta sa buhay niya during the time that he served in office. Wala pong maniniwala dyan. Meron talagang banta yan sa lahat ng presidente na dumaan at nagsilbi sa bayan. No matter how kind you are, meron talagang banta yan. And for them to say na wala, huwag na kayo maniwala doon. Yun lang yun.
Okay.
And
Opo.
the other side of this context is that ang punot dulo nitong impeachment trial is that there is only one consequence, legal consequence. There is only one penalty. Removal from public office, and kaakibat niyan, perpetual disqualification. Either to be appointed or elected in public office. So alam na natin kung saan patutungo itong trial na ito. Na despite the popularity of VP Sara, and when I say popularity, I will again put it in its proper context. Yung isa, sobrang taas na positive rating. Yung isa naman, sobrang baba in a negative rating. At nakikita natin na this is the only hurdle for VP Sara. I'm referring to the impeachment trial. This is the only hurdle na pag she would be able to overcome this impeachment, ay tuloy-tuloy na po tayo sa 2028.
Opo, attorney, nakikita niyo po ba na yung pattern naman, kasi napag-usapan na lang natin yung pattern, na parang kinokonekta nila sa ICC at ang target ay ang pangalawang pangulo. Parang ibang plano nila in case na hindi ma-impeach. Kasi nag-a-arise na naman. Ginamit yung sinasabing testimonya daw ni Las Cañas, mismo sa bibig ng prosecution. Ginamit ito ng ICC. Ngunit na-real talk siya ng presiding officer pero hindi tayo ICC, no? Impeachment court ito ng Senado. Meron po ba kayong nakikitang posibilidad na ganyan, na i-connecta naman sa ICC at baka maging ang pangalawang pangulo na naman na magiging subject po nito, attorney?
By way of first impression, wala po akong nakitang connection, ano? But I like to cite, since you mentioned about the ICC, I like to cite the manifestation of Congresswoman Luistro. When the document pertaining to the alleged affidavit of Arturo Las Cañas was cited to be unnotarized and unsigned, correct me if I'm wrong because I was following the proceeding, si Congressman Luistro was saying na the ICC daw does not require an affidavit to be notarized or signed. Napakamot ako sa ulo doon when I heard it. Kasi we look up to the ICC as an institution who is supposed to be a global institution that addresses crimes that are beyond us to consider and try. And yet, yung threshold of evidence, kung totoo man yung sinabi, yung threshold of evidence for the ICC to consider sobrang baba. Kahit na hindi notaryado, i-consider ng ICC. Mahirap naman intindihin yun. At mahirap tanggapin kung ganon, no? And I don't suppose the ICC would agree to that statement. That being said, kung may kaugnayan man, naalala ko lang yung sinabi ng mga tao, learned jurist and even political analyst, in saying na pag may mangyari sa dating Pangulo, talagang tataas yung rating at siguradong mananalo na si VP Sara. At kung uuwi naman ang dating Pangulo sa Pilipinas, ganun din ang mangyayari. So whichever way, and I hope it will not happen, the former will not happen, meaning something happened to the former president in detention, but rather he will come back to the Philippines alive and well sa kanyang tahanan at in the embrace of the Filipino people, ay talagang sigurado na rin ay yung pagpapanalo ni VP Sara sa 2028.
Opo, huli na lang po, attorney, doon po sa pagpapaliwanag ng prosecution, lalo na mula kay Congressman Jervil Luistro na naging lead prosecutor, gusto ng Senator Judge na yes or no lang ang isagot. Pero pumalag siya dahil gusto niya bigyan ng konteksto. Pero doon sa pagdinig nila, doon sa Kamara, gusto nila yes or no lang. At wala nang ibang mga paliwanag na kung matatandaan natin, na-real talk din sila ni former President Rodrigo Duterte nang sinubukan nila ito sa kanya. Ano po masasabi niyo po dito ngayon? Taste of their own medicine ba, attorney?
Natawa ko dun sa sinabi mo, Admar, kasi nasa tabi ako ng dating Pangulo nung nag-appear siya sa Quadcom. Kaya sinisita na ni dating Pangulo patungkol doon sa mga tanong ng, maalala ko yung isang Makabayan Black party list rep, answerable by yes or no. At sinagot ng dating Pangulo, this is not a police investigation. Kung maalala ko, no, just to paraphrase. So he needs to explain why. But I like to separate that, no, insofar as the legislative investigation and the trial is concerned. Tama po na pagdating sa legislative investigation, kung ano mang gusto nilang mangyari in terms of process on the question and answer, if it's answerable by yes or no, well and good. If they need to explain and the congressman in a legislative investigation or hearing, then the resource person, kasi ang tawag sa kanila resource person, may explain. And I think it's even appropriate for, again I say, the resource person. Kaya nga inimbita sila to shed light on the subject matter of the legislative investigation or hearing. Pero dito po sa impeachment trial, ang papel lang po ng testigo is to answer question. Again, in the context and consistent with the standard on the rules and evidence. Sinabi na natin kanina na based on personal knowledge. So ibig sabihin, kung lalong-lalo na sa mga tanong sa cross-examiner, kasi sa cross-examination kasi, the cross-examiner is allowed to ask leading questions. And these leading questions is answerable by yes or no. The witness need not explain and is not supposed to explain. And if he or she has to explain, obligasyon yan ng prosecutor or the lawyer who presented the witness in court to ask the witness to explain on redirect but not on cross-examination. Kasi nga, when not asked to explain, yes and no lang ang sagot. Para hindi na mapahaba yung examination ng mga testigo sa harap ng impeachment court. So yun po yung papel ng testigo sa impeachment court. May kaibahan po doon sa papel ng resource person sa legislative investigation or hearing conducted before the House of Representatives or the Philippine Senate.
So naramdaman na rin nila kung sila ay mag-iimbestiga kung, kung yes or no lang yung ipasasagot. Pero huli na lang, ihabol ko na lang to, attorney. Di ba sabi nila yung grave threat is betrayal of public trust. Ngayon naman may pahayag po ang isang kongresista sa katauhan ni Congressman Abante na parang yung foreign trip daw ng pangalawang Pangulo, Sara Duterte, isang betrayal of public trust. Ano po masasabi niyo po rito?
Alam mo, it does not dignify a comment. Wala talaga. Hindi ko na talaga maintindihan yung mga sinasabi.
Opo. Oo. Attorney, huli na lang, next week, sona na po ng Pangulong Bongbong Marcos Jr. Inaasahan ba ninyong mababanggit pa itong impeachment trial kay VP Sara Duterte? So far, ano po yung expectation po ninyo sa State of the Nation address ng Pangulo?
Wala po masyado akong expectation sa zona ng Pangulo. Alam mo kung bakit? Nauna yung result ng dalawang survey. Ibig sabihin, confirmatory. Kung iisang survey firm lang credible as it may be, na talagang ang baba ng satisfaction rating, approval rating, at saka trust rating ng Pangulo, at sinundan pa ng latest sa Pulse Asia survey after the SWS survey, what are we to expect sa SONA next week? No? So yung po ang more of the same, if I may, insofar as the last four SONAs is concerned. But coming into the SONA on Monday, you have two very credible results of how the president stands before the Filipino people. And it does not look good.